Alright, I'm back. We're back for another video. This time we're breaking down how to make them REXV2 Majins kind of beats now, because I haven't really done this before. I have a beat already loaded up. I'm just gonna go through all the sounds, kind of break down my thought process, and let's make them Rex beats. Let's go. Alright, here we are inside FL Studio. Now I got the FLP loaded up. With the melody, it is one of my loops, so I don't have access to the actual notes that I played, but I'll just go sound by sound and how I created it from the loop. So let's hop right into the first pattern. Alright, so the first pattern pretty much had like a delay on it. It's like a pluck. I'm not exactly sure what bank it was from or what plugin. I want to say it sounds like Serum, because I'll be using a lot of Serum for these beats. Plucks go really good with Rex beats, and this really fit for like a jumpy lead, and this is what stands out in the beat right here. So you always want something that just stands out, but the drums is where you really want it to hit. So I had something not too crazy, but it's still kind of catchy. Let's go on to the next sound here. This is pretty much the same pattern as the jumpy lead or pluck. This is just in pad form, so it kind of fills that empty space when the pluck isn't playing. Let's go on to our third sound here. We got, now I believe this sound is the second sound pitched up and reversed, which gives it that weird Rex kind of feel, because he'd be pitching up his sounds and like reversing them. You can kind of hear it in some of those songs. If you ever heard of Taurus by Rex, you can definitely hear it in that. It's like some crazy lead reverse. It's unreleased, I think, though. It might be on his archive. Alright, now we got our fourth sound. And this pretty much replays. This is huge in Rex beats. This, like, it's a basic saw lead. You hear it in almost every single one of Rex beats, and it's just another lead that is just crunching over the beat. He has that crunchy kind of feel. It's hard to explain. If you know, you know. And our second to last melody here, another little pluck. You can kind of hear it with it almost has the same pattern as the first pluck. Gives it more of that spacey feel. So if you play them together, it sounds pretty good. And let's go on to our last lead. This one is a little different here. This one barely plays, but it's catchy. It's a catchy top line. Throw it in the second part of your hook, or you throw it in the middle of the verse where people aren't expecting it, and it's just a good addition, a good like switch up to have. And I'm gonna play the melody all together for you guys in a second here, without it being arranged and like taken apart. Alright, so now I got the whole entire melody here, not arranged, and we're just gonna quickly play through it so you can get a feel for how everything would sound together. You can already get a hint at the actual beat. But yeah, the melody is pretty simple, and I try to keep it like that and not have too much stuff going on, not too many leads, because the drums is where you need it to have the most, like, that's the biggest part of the step team Majins, REXV2, Buliman, whatever you want to call it. This whole entire genre, it's really all about the drums. The melody definitely matters in a sense, because it needs to catch the listener's ear, but the drums really where it hits. So simple melody, broke it down from the loop. Now we're gonna jump right into the drums, make it quick here. Alright, the first sound I got is a snare. I got the snare out of the Cody kit. It's just basic, but it has a little bit of a delay on it. And something you notice about these Rex drums is that they'll play normally, and then it'll be off by one, it'll be off by a half, and that's kind of what the pattern I have here. So let me play you guys the full pattern. And it's a little off, you could definitely tell, but that's what just makes it feel more like a REXV2 beat. And I'm gonna jump into the hi-hats here. Let me play them first. And it just repeats pretty much. With the hi-hats, you want to have space and then no space. So in this first 1.5 bars almost, I have pretty much just two basic ones, and then these rolls are crucial. It's like half step roll, and it just you don't really play with the velocity for them because that's what makes it like have that feel that you'd be trying to go for. And you space it out. So as you could tell, it goes spaced out, condensed. That's just kind of, it's always jumping around, which is kind of just the vibe of the genre. Now we're going to go into the open hat. It's a pretty simple open hat. And here I went with the like an acoustic open hat. It's a little different. It just plays off of the half, and it plays on the half here, and it just repeats. It's nothing crazy. It's just something to fill space. But REXV2 does have a lot of open hats in his beats, and they do play frequently. So that's something you really want to try to go for too. And that's what I did with this one. Let me play the pattern real quick though. And it just repeats. So then yeah, we have it kind of off and on pattern, and you want to have a lot of open hats in here. This one's just another simple pattern, kind of plays off the acoustic one, and they kind of just roll together. So I'm gonna play both the open hats together real quick. So it sounds like this. A little spaced out, but it's still kind of a call and response. And we got, here we're going into the perks now. Then we got the Bisa. You hear it in almost every single beat. It's kind of just, it's got to be there one way or another. Same thing with the Dolan here. I'm going to play this one. Just kind of got to be there at some point. This is just a simple triangle I have. And they all just play a little bit separated from each other. Next thing, the perk is this Ivy's rim. Just adds some like presence to the beat, you know. It's like a counter snare pretty much. And that's really it for the Ivy's one. And then I'm going to jump into more here. This next sound, the Jinx, is definitely also really crucial. You'll hear it. You definitely hear that a lot too. So that's something you always like need to have. And then after that, the drum line. And a lot of these play separated and they play together, and then they play separated and together, because you could see these patterns. It's kind of just the pattern for the whole step team thing. Let me just get to the next perk though. Simple chant, pretty common in every beat. Then we got the Majin snare, kind of plays off the Ivy rim, so I'm gonna play them together here. Kind of the same kind of vibe, like that band drums kind of sounds that Majin loves to use. And then next we got this is our actual counter snare. It's the spike, which plays very rarely, but when you play it all together, it does make a difference. And our last thing is this Beethoven, which really just plays at the end of each 8 bars. Little roll just at the end. It pretty much goes almost the whole beat except for the bridge and the first part of the hook. And now we get to everything that everyone wants to get to. It's the 808s, how Rex makes those 808s hit. And really, this one straight out of the Cody kit, it's nothing crazy. It's just going up, down, short, and then long. That's just kind of how you have to do it. It has to be balanced and it has to be quick. It's got to change quick. And the distortion definitely helps too. So it's definitely a distorted Rex 808. That's always the best for these type of beats. And it's going from C up to G, bouncing back down, goes down. It's like all over the place. And then we go from 3 steps to 1 to 5. We go to 5 steps, 1, 3. You get the point. Up, down, and the length of the notes get longer, shorter. After that, I'm gonna play all the drums together too right now. They actually all play right here, so. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty simple enough. It has that like offbeat kind of bounce, which is what you need. The last thing I'll get into, pretty much, since it's pretty self-explanatory, a lot of these drums, just a bunch of different sounds playing together, separated, and just being different at all times. And make sure that each sound only plays once or twice, for the perks at least, because you want your ears to stay fresh and be ready to hear that sound again. Because if it's playing too much, then the beat gets really boring really fast. So you want stuff to pop up when you don't expect it. And before I get to the arrangement, I do want to add, I did change up the 808 during the arrangement, and this is what the next pattern sounds like. And I also cut off the old 808 and had it play at the end of each 4 bars. Yeah, and I did that because you also, like I was saying, with the different feel, if the 808's playing the same the whole time, it kind of gets that same boring pattern feel, like you know what's coming. But I switched it, made it shorter, so like this is where the rappers, like, or the artists, like spitting on the track more. But that's why I made the 808s more punchy and short for this part. All right, for the arrangement, REXV2 rarely has intros. A lot of his songs go straight into the drum, straight into the hook. He'll have like 4 seconds of space, but he still considers it a hook. So that's what I did here. I've got 8 bars for a hook, and most people do it 2 bars for a verse, 1 for a bridge. But I went back, looked at a few Rex beats. He has 3 bars for the verse and 1 for the bridge, and literally that's it. It just repeats. And a lot of people think you need an outro or you need to end on a hook, but no, because he'll cut it right after this bar right here, like make it a 1:37 long song, or he'll spit this verse and then have the bridge be the outro essentially. So it would basically end on a verse. Now that I broke down how like hook verse kind of go in most of his beats, let me break down sounds for each one and why I put them there. So I didn't have a lot of the perks playing in the first half of the hook because you don't want too many sounds at once. You need to space it out, leave room for the artist. I'm sure every producer, any video will tell you that you always want to leave space for the artist and make the sounds for the artist, not the producer, if that makes sense. Kind of sucks, but in the end you want artists on your beats. So I'm gonna just play you the hook itself. And my tag. Yeah, that's pretty much the hook. We go from a few sounds and then everything. Literally is everything except for one lead. And that's all you really need for the arrangement of the hook. And now we go into the verse. So the first part of the verse, I cut pretty much a bunch of the drums. This time I keep a lot of the perks in because I want to keep that kind of like vibe going. I take out a lot of the open hats and some of like the main percussion that's in every beat. Like these perks down here, you don't hear in every beat. These perks up here you usually do. So I took those out, kept my originality in the verse, and I cut off the hi-hat because it's usually what I do. And you'll hear the lead come in right here, so let me play it. Leaving space for the artist. And I cut all the drums here because I know I'm about to switch up the 808, so I want that impact to switch it up fast. And also, if you look from the first part of the verse to the second part, I switch up almost all the sounds, creating that new vibe, new elements to the beat that you wouldn't think of, the listener wouldn't expect in the final product. So I'm gonna play the transition here so you can hear it. With the new 808, brought a lot of the drums back. Yep, and then after that, pretty much this last part of the verse, just another variation of uniqueness. I try to make all the sections of the verse unique, and this one just pretty much has the same exact drums as the first part, so it goes back, forth, and back to the first one. So that's what I also do a lot. Into the bridge, maybe the easiest part. I usually throw every sound in here because when the hook comes back around, it's not playing every sound. So we go from a bunch of sounds to not a lot of sounds, but the drums hit. So, and I have some fade out here because if you play them all at the same time, it feels weird, but they all should be playing, or most of them should be playing for the bridge. And it'll flow right in to the hook here. Yeah, and it's just a good transition that we have there. And then that's all you need, and then you just copy it over once to make the beat at least 2.5 minutes or so, which is the average like time for a song. And the last thing I'll point out is that the fruity parametric EQs, I'm sure a lot of producers already know this, but please cut out the low end in your melodies when the 808 is playing, or else it's gonna clash, it's gonna sound bad. Please just do it. If you don't know how to do it, I'll just show some sauce right here. So you're gonna find out whatever melody your 808 or whatever track your melody's playing. I usually end up routing them to one track by the time I get to the drums anyways. So in this sense, it's 1 on insert 1. I have the EQ, basically cut out all the low mid. You can also like change it, adjust it based on whatever 808 you use. And you right click with your mouse on the circle, create automation clip, and you'll pretty much just have it all the way up when the 808s are playing, and when they don't, turn it down so you can hear like the low end of the beat. And the last thing is pretty much just cutting out sounds. Consistently do it, don't overdo it, because you want to keep that step team feel, so you want to cut them, but at the same time you want to make sure the drums are there and the artist knows where they can find themselves on the beat. But yeah, let me run through the whole beat real quick all the way up to the bridge so you can listen to it. That's how you make Rex beats. I can go more in depth with the melody in another video, but I can do that for a ton of different types of melodies. It just so happens to be one of my loops that I already had, you know, chopped up and whatnot. So yeah, so thanks for watching. It's definitely a shorter video, but hope you guys enjoyed, learned something at least. Hopefully with the arrangement, because I feel like that's what people struggle with the most. But let's give a listen to the whole beat. Alright, I appreciate y'all watching, you know, quick little vid. Hope you learned something, man. But comment what you want next, you know, sub up, go follow the Insta. That's all I gotta say, bro. Peace out.